your homework is to catch up. Those of you that are behind, those of you that have had letters sent home with you, those of you that maybe forgot to show your parent the list of work you're behind on, yeah, guys, you're not like pulling one over on us. We know what forget means. Bethany? Isn't there what? So, what is due today? When I put it really big on the board, it seems to not get your attention. So I thought if I put it really small, it might get your attention. But unless you're really wanting to pass a reading test this morning, I guess I can make it bigger. Here's what's due. Turn it in now if you have it, and if you don't, evaluate your life choices.
Can I turn in some of them?
If it's done, like turn in what is done. You'd rather only have 2 missings go in than like 4 missings. If you turn it in tomorrow or Friday, do not expect your grade to change until Monday. I'm not here. I'm not going to stop by just to get your late work. Ooh, Raiden, we missed you on here. Might as well let it be your handwriting. Nice. You know what would be better? All of them. Our schedule today, as we already talked about, I have very limited time, especially because some people got confused this morning and I have even less than I should have. So we should probably get down to some business because we're only in here till 58. So someone help me stay honest. We're in here till 58. Should probably save this too while I have that pasted in there. One of the tasks you were supposed to be completing is in your math notes, looking up unit rate. So if you did not do that yet, pull out your math notes. Flip, I think, 2 flips of a page back. Nope, just 1. Who can tell me what a unit rate is? Lane?
A rate is a ratio that compares coefficient the amount of one quantity changes and the other quantity changes. Can I start with someone else?
Sure, yeah.
A unit rate is a rate that compares the change in one quantity to one unit change in another quantity. For example, miles per hour is a unit rate because it compares the change in miles to the change of 1 hour.
Sophia, if you need a copy, they're back there.
3,000 miles in 5 hours and uses 6,000 gallons of fuel. You can compute several unit rates.
So our unit rate that we actually care about, like the unit rate that we normally use, and what you could indicate in your notes, but a lot of you keep choosing not to, is the per 1 of something. So 1 in the denominator, those are the unit rates that we care about. And it's called unit because it's a single unit in the denominator. So like if you're flying on your plane and it is going 3,000 miles in 5 hours, yeah, because you all have a plane, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, your car is not going to go 3,000 miles in 5 hours, but a plane could. I mean, I think, probably, maybe. So this 600 miles per 1 hour is our unit rate, as opposed to this 3,000 miles per 5 hours. That's a rate, but it's not our unit rate because it doesn't have a 1 on bottom. Some of you aren't moving pencils, and that seems like a questionable choice. But hey, I can't make you do things. If we flip to the next page, right, unit rates down here, if we flip to the next page, we see our fancy vocab word for today. So guys, take a moment to, on your own, read this and look at this. I'm going to give you like at least a minute where we can just quietly read and look at what constant of proportionality is and how it relates to things. need those next period. If you would like to write the easier word to remember, constant of proportionality is really our multiplier in a relationship like what we saw yesterday with different problems, like dollars per pound with cheese, or like miles per gallon with a car, or miles per hour with a car. Guys, it's really just our multiplier. So if you look at the example in that next box, y equals 7/3 x, what is your constant of proportionality there? The constant of proportionality is the multiplier to the x. So I guess multiplier to x, we could say. So what, down here in this situation, what's multiplying by x?
Pounds? No. Cost.
Guys, there's a number. What is multiplying by x? 7/3. So our constant of proportionality here is 7/3. It's always the thing multiplying by the x. Now down here though, and I would maybe put like a star. Guys, why we're taking a moment to look at our notes is people keep coming to ask me for help, and it starts with, look at our math notes. This situation is not proportional because it cost us $5 to get into the fair, and then it's $1 for every ride. So if we only look at the price of rides, if we only look at what we spend on the rides, that's proportional. $1 per ride. But that's not the only thing I have to pay. I also have to pay $5 to get in. So therefore, if I were to graph what I spent to go to the fair, we start at 5, our line goes up that way. This graph is not proportional because it doesn't what? Doesn't start at 0. So if I was you, I'd make that indication of not proportional relationship because it doesn't start at 0. It starts at 5. And as a reminder, if you're still working on these homeworks that talk about distributive property, if you flip to the next page, distributive property is back there. And if you flip to the back, there's some examples of working with proportions. These can go back in your binder now. So I want you guys to check out, these are not on this paper, which is also, I made this 2 days worth of homework. So what do we need every day? Graph paper. So if you don't have it, get some out. We see that Graham gets paid $4.23 for each half hour. That's awkward. That's not normally how people tell you what they're going to pay you. So I think you guys probably, even though, has anyone gotten like a job where you get paid for the amount of time you work? Has anyone ever done that? But not like, I'll pay you $20 to rake my leaves. Like they pay you so much per every time. Okay, Safe, what's your example?
It's kind of like, I take it for every hour, I get like $20 or $40, $50.
You don't even know what you get paid?
No, it's like $50 an hour.
Dang,
We're
man.
mowing the front and back garden.
I'm never hiring you. That's expensive. Holy cow. People must like
People
you.
charge like $100 an hour. I was giving them
Yeah, but you're like 12. Those are like pros who get it done real fast, probably. I mean, what you're saying is a proportional relationship. Dang, you're expensive. Sophia, what was yours? It's not a thing.
I just do like dogs. It's like she just gave me $30 each.
My first job, and yes, I know, the longer I teach, I'm just an old man. My first job, you guys want to guess what I got paid per hour?
50 cents.
I'm not that old. Dang it, buddy. Throwing shade.
Probably like $5 an hour.
£6. I'm not in Europe. Pounds is a measurement of money, but over in other countries.
Pounds?
I forget the exact amount, about $7 an hour. That's really, like, I forget if it was like $6.85 or $7, what, but like right about $7 an hour. Well, that's kind of a lie. My first job was at scout camp, and they paid us like for the summer. It was $500, which was kind of a rip off. But scout camp's fun. $7 an hour. Now that is normally minimum wage, which is legally the lowest they can pay you. Now here's what really sucks, and why you tip when you go to restaurants: servers, like people that carry the food, people that take your orders, people that take care of you all night long while you're at dinner. They do not have to get paid minimum wage. They get paid lower than minimum wage. There's a different minimum for servers than there is for any other job, because servers are tippable, but that doesn't mean it does happen. That doesn't mean you get an appropriate tip. And that is really one of the things that America's doing wrong.
So servers, I saw this girl and she gets paid. She's a server. She gets paid $2 an hour, and the taxes, since it takes out all of her money, so she lives off of tips, and she gets $100 a day.
Yeah, and that's low for tip. Well, it depends on where you work, of what people would be tipping and how expensive the food is. When I worked for Jimmy John's, I got paid, I think, like $8 an hour, but did get tips because I drove, I delivered the sandwiches. So like I was lucky that I got paid like a real amount and then tipped. But you also have to pay taxes on your tips if you tell the government about all of them, which a lot of people don't, which is technically against the law. But if that $5 actually fell in your pocket, then got processed, like as opposed to getting processed by your boss, nobody knows that $5 fell in your pocket as opposed to getting processed by your boss. So I'm just trying to teach you guys about the real world. But Graham gets paid $4.23 for every half hour he works. Chat with your neighbor, figure out what his hourly pay is. And let's go ahead and jot that down on the graph paper. How can we figure this out? I don't even know if anyone grabbed a calculator. Y'all are impressive. No, I'm impressed that I think a lot of us just realized I don't need a calculator for that. Carolina!
I can't see.
What? Well, that's why I said write it on your graph paper. I'm moving quick.
I was
I have
about
less time. 423.
Okay, thank you.
423. Right? So if it's 423, and guys, normally when we're setting up proportions, you'd be really smart to write this on your graph paper. I'm telling you. $4.23 for every, how long? Half hour. But we would like to get to how much time, Carolina? An hour. Would that go on top or bottom over here? Bottom, because we have to match our labels. So to get to our 1 hour, what are we going to do? Multiply by 2, because we're always multiplying or dividing. And if we do it on bottom, you got to do it on top. And that's how we got, how much does Graham get paid hourly? $8.46. Okay. We could look up what minimum wage is right now, but we don't really have time. I think that's better than minimum wage right now.
So looking at Skyline and they were paying people.
Like 14, 15.
Yeah, $15
Because
an hour.
nobody wants to work for $8 an hour. That sucks. I could go deliver for like Uber or whoever, make more than that. So that's why people have to up what they're willing to pay. Questions on that? So actually, let's scale this up one more time, because hopefully this is on your paper, and we can make it even better by doing another. Anyone know how many hours you work in an average work week? I don't know, like how many hours is average? Just shout it out if you think you know.
7.
26.
8.
Isn't it 30? 40.
50.
40. If you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I can see some of you are starting to
That's
think,
basically
wait, how
school.
long are we at? Don't do that math right now. It might make you sad. So, how do I turn 1 into 40? Times 40. So once I have a 1 on bottom, I can do a whole lot with this, because this is our what? With a 1 on bottom? Unit rate. You might put that in your notes. Like, I don't know, make a little arrow or something and remind yourself this is your unit rate because it has a 1 on bottom. So if Graham works all week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, how much money is he going to make? Now you probably need a calculator. But now, like your homework on one of your problem shows, now we need to take away a fourth of that though, because you got to pay your taxes. I'm not joking. It's about a fourth of your paycheck is going to get lost to taxes and other stuff. We won't go into that right now.
Oh, taxes
Excuse
suck.
this interruption. Could I please have Will Blickhan to the office? Will
So,
Blickhan.
if I want to
Very
take
office.
away a fourth,
Thank you.
how many fourths do I have left? 3/4. So let's take our 338.4. 338.4 times that by 3/4, or you can times it by 0.75. How much money is he actually gonna bring home that week?
Bro, taxes are scary.
I mean, they're not scary. They just suck.
$253. That's why I have Halloween.
7th grade. I'm
253.
You
How much?
actually taxes?
I need it to the office, please.
You are.
Wait.
So Graham just went from about 340. He's like, yeah, I can get that Xbox, whatever, and then he checks his paycheck and he's like, what? What's FICA? There's literally a thing on your paycheck that says FICA, and it's like a government thing, whatever. Guys, this is how the world works.
I mean, that's still pretty good.
I hate the world.
For all week, you put in a whole week of work.
8 hours a day. For a kid, that seems like a lot.
Now go to the grocery store and buy your groceries for the week. Now pay your rent. Now pay your electric bill, your gas bill, your water bill, your trash bill.
Ah!
How much money do you think you have left?
You're like in debt like $1 million.
Guys, this is why I teach math. I need I need young people to understand how the world works so you don't get screwed over thinking this is a lot of money. It's not.
This world is scary.
It's a lot of money to you guys because you don't realize how much is automatically got to get paid.
I mean, when I saw that 300,
So when,
I'm like, shopping spree.
When you talk to your parents about I want, you got to realize they already got to pay everything. Like, they got a lot of stuff you have to pay.
No, but they got a steady job.
Adjust my Christmas list.
Jamie runs 9.3 miles in 1.5 hours. We got to get to at least one more problem. Guys, this directly relates to what you're going to do tomorrow. So I would write this down. It will make your life easier tomorrow. 9.3 miles. If I put the miles on top, what am I going to put on bottom? The hours. Yeah, the other thing that we have. Now, from 1.5 to 1 feels a little awkward. I could actually take like a little checkpoint and make life easier. What the last problem we did was so like E word at the beginning because all you had to do was do what? From a half hour to an hour. You just doubled, right? Let's double this and take this to 3 hours. Trust me. What's double 9? What's double 3? Trust me, this is easier. 18.6. Now, I want you to drop it back to the single mile. So now how do we get back to single mile? Divide by 3, because we're always multiplying. Or, hey guys, 18 divides by 3, nice, and 6 divides by 3, nice. What is his unit rate? 6.2 miles per...
Why are there 2 miles?
Per hour.
What? Oh, my bad. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I was a little confused.
I think Carolina was the first one to call me on that. It was real close, but I think Carolina, so I think I owe you a piece of candy.
Yes, Carolina.
And again, you might want to indicate on your paper, this is our unit rate. which means if we go to set up an equation, like what's in your math notes, if this is our unit rate, it is also our constant of proportionality. So the equation we can write here would be y, the distance he can run, Jamie could be either. I don't know if it's a he or she.
I think
What's our What's our constant of proportionality here? 6.2. We just found that. And that constant proportionality is always multiplied by the x, which will really be how long Jamie runs for.
Why
This
is the X red light under it? Or right next to it?
Because it's multiplying. This is multiplication. You don't have to. When you, I did that on purpose. I love that you asked that. When a number is right up against a letter, you know it's multiplication because there's no addition, there's no subtraction, there's nothing else in between them. So if I say like 5 bananas, I don't have to say 5 times bananas. I just say 5 bananas. I'm trying to think of a better example.
Really,
But
you'd
yeah,
say
you
bananas
don't have to
5.
write the multiplication. You can, but you don't have to. So like, yeah, but we're running out of time. And I'm gonna think too hard about
This
this.
is all I can think about now. Like,
5
Well,
bananas.
no, how unfair the world is, and how like we don't get any money when we're older.
Well, that's why you got to decide: do I want to take that job for like X amount or different amount? We might as well try to get us to our second class on time. So let's go ahead and pack that up.
I'm scared.
I'll put the schedule back up. There it is.
I'm so scared. I like
My daughter was like, hey, just made like after dinner, and I was like, what are you doing? He's like,